What up, gamers, and happy Valentine's Day. My name is Aaron, a 25-year-old dumbass with a YouTube channel. In my free time, I play a shit ton of video games, mainly World of Warcraft, and in my long time with this game, I've played at every level imaginable. I've been in guilds so bad you wouldn't believe it, all the way up to where I am today, a very respectable level that I'm quite proud of. So, because I've played everywhere, I can probably relate to wherever you're at on your journey. And if you're looking to step up your game, I've probably got a couple tips to make it a lot easier. So, if any of that sounds interesting to you, I would love to have you along for the ride. I would love to have you as a subscriber as I get this thing going throughout the 11.1 patch and beyond. I've got some plans for a lot of things that I think will be at least useful and hopefully a lot of fun too. So, I prepared this content plan using cutting-edge MS Paint technology, and we're going to go through it together so you know what to expect. And when it's over, if you'd like to tell me, Aaron, I love you. Aaron, you're the smartest guy I've ever seen. Aaron, I named my firstborn after you. Then that's cool too. You can throw that in the comments. But regardless, I'd love to share my work with you, and I'd love to hear about how your WoW journey is going or how I could be helpful for it. Alright, so let's look at the list. Now, I want to be clear here that this is all kind of subject to change. If I feel like something's not really working, I'll probably shelve it, and if I feel like something's necessary, I'll probably throw it in. But I still do want to do the outline so you can kind of see a general guide for what types of things I'll be doing. Now, I'm going to start off with the whenever videos. These are going to exist outside of any sort of timeline. They're going to get uploaded whenever it feels right. This is going to be things like quick tips that I think are going to help out in the moment, things that people seem to be struggling on. Useful gameplay, things that really kind of demonstrate a point I'm trying to make. For fun videos, sort of like the patch review I did, not necessarily going to be something super constructive, but more something entertainment-based. Similarly, we're going to have relevant YAP sessions or patch impressions where I actually have something to add to the conversation or something that I want to bring to the table in the discussion. And also, Mythic Plus highlights, maybe some key VODs. I meant to have some stuff like this for Season 1. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the gang together fast enough, but for Season 2, there will definitely be something more along those lines. Alright, so next we've got the very soon category. This is things that's either going to come out before 11.1 or immediately into it. And the first two you can see here are the new patch gearing strategies and the 11.1 gearing guide. Now, these are probably going to get merged into one video for now. The main idea was one was going to be like how to think about gearing to do it optimally, and the second one was going to be about how to spend your time to gear quick this patch. I think that can probably be one video. Next up, the Mythic Plus Beginner's Guide. Now, I do want to be clear that I don't want to do too much baby content on my channel. I think that this is going to be an amazing Mythic Plus season, so I do want to make something to help everyone be able to enjoy it, even people who've never done a key before in their life. But that being said, I do think that people who have not done any content like this are not really too far behind. They just need to learn how to shift their mindset into thinking about the game in a competitive way. Once that happens, the actual improvement follows pretty quick, I think. So, hopefully the beginner's guide is helpful to people who maybe have never stepped into a key or have not stepped into anything below low keys and want to kind of learn how to approach it from a new player perspective. After that, of course, what should I play in 11.1? Now, this is not a tier list. Tier lists can be a lot of fun, but they're also kind of useless this early. I mean, nobody saw Prop Paladin as anything other than poop tier before this patch came out, and now you look around, and Prop Paladin's all you can see. So, not a tier list, we'll just look at the historical trends behind classes, what they bring to the table on average, and what you can probably expect if you choose to play them. So, that's the very soon category. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so the videos for early 11.1. First off, we're going to very quickly have the heroic raid guides, and as my guild kills bosses, we'll have the mythic guides. I put some stars here because one thing I want to address is, why my guides? Well, guides are not a rare thing. I mean, in the World of Warcraft community, you can throw a stone and hit 18 different guides for any boss you could name. I mean, it'd be harder to find a content creator for World of Warcraft that's not making boss guides this tier. So, why mine? Well, something I've noticed is that a lot of the time, I think boss guides take a too zoomed out approach to the boss. I think a lot of the time it would be more effective for guides to focus on how the experience is going to play out for you and what you need to be prepared to do, or how to react or anticipate things. You don't need to know that when the boss hits 46 energy, it's going to do 7 squillion damage split between 17 dudes. You don't need to think about that. You need to know, using Ansarek as an example, okay, I've got this green shit on me, I need to get to this marker, I need to do this, dodge here, etc. You need to know what it's going to be like for you. And so that's kind of what I want to do with my guides. I want to zoom in more on the first person, this is your experience, and this is how you should prepare and react to things. So, after the raid stuff, we're going to have the dungeon guides. These as well, I think a lot of the time they come out too early in the season, and then they become useless. Because the problems you have at the beginning of the season are not going to be the problems that you have later in the season, as new strategies develop, as patch notes come in. So, I'm going to take a little bit and wait until we're doing some high keys to make the dungeon guides. That way we can focus on things that are actually problems for key pushers, and I can show you how to deal with things that you're going to hit and wonder, how the hell do I deal with this? So, that's my plan for guides. I hope that sounds good to you. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot Content Oasis. So the main idea behind Content Oasis was going to be, World of Warcraft is fucking huge, and I'd like to take something that you may have never interacted with before, or rarely, and show you how it could be useful to you, or even just plain fun to do. The idea behind Content Oasis number 1 was originally going to be time walking, showing you how, if you have some free time and maybe an interest in farming old gear, you could easily turn your character into a time walking god that one-shots their way to the weekly chest every time there's a time walking event. But the event's gotten changed quite a bit lately, so I'm not sure if that'll still be the point of Content Oasis 1, but the idea is sort of the same. Show something you might rarely interact with that is something with quite a lot of depth that will give you a lot of stuff to do and hopefully is useful to you in some way. And one other thing too, early 11.1 is going to be the golden age of my Twitch channel. If you are ever bored or looking for something to do, there is a high likelihood that I will be gaming on Twitch TV/Kitchen Commander. So if you're looking to hang out, I'd love to have you around. If you wouldn't mind stopping in and saying hello, it would make my day. So, hope they'll see you there. But we'll get to the next section. Alright, so for late 11.1, we're going to have the Advanced Mythic Plus guide. This is going to be for people who either just hopped in with the beginner guide and now have a bit of a season under their belt, or it's going to be for the people who didn't watch the beginner's guide because they have nothing to learn there. This one's going to be less about getting into keys for the first time and up to portal level, and more about learning how to transition into an IO pushing player. Things like how to mentally and mechanically handle mashing pulls together, and what to think about to optimize your damage and survivability in these keystones. I think this one will be a lot more useful to people who have begun their Mythic Plus journey already. So, hopefully if the beginner one isn't good for you, this one will be. After that, the 11.1 patch review. Now, I already did an 11.0 patch review, and my concern with the 11.1 one is that I don't know whether it's better to do one video for all of 11.1, or break it up for the 0.5 and the 0.7 patch. There was a lot of things that I didn't get to talk about in the patch 11.0 review, because it would have just been too long a video. But getting to go in detail on the changes that each patch brought might be a pretty important thing, because when you look at patch 11.0, we didn't really get to talk about how 0.5 destroyed an amazing meta, or how it really laid the groundwork for the absolute glitch fest and bug abuse that has been rampant since then. We just didn't have time. So, I'm not really sure what to do there. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. After that, I want to start a weekly or maybe once every other week conversation on what's going on in the community, or maybe some thoughts I have on conversations occurring around the state of the game. Some things I've seen lately on this is like, where do we go from here with the exploit situation? Or should something like Ovinax ever happen again? So when I have something to say, I'd like to kind of chime in and just push the discussion in one direction to maybe help you think about it in a different perspective, or even hear what you guys have to say about it. So, as with all the other sections, more could come and go in this section. We'll see as we get there. Alright, and finally the content drought era. It's gonna happen. Someday, 6 months from now, we'll have re-cleared Galliwix for the 25th time, and we'll just be saying, please, let it end. Put me in 11.2 already. So, during that time, I've got some longer-term projects made to kind of, fill in the gaps with some interesting content that doesn't really have much to do with the raid. That's going to be the Classic Player's Guide to Retail WoW, mostly inspired by how much I've been sucked into Season of Discovery lately. That's going to be for helping people who have never really played retail at a high level come in from Classic, which is pretty much a different world even though it's the same game. And secondly, I'd like to do Zero to War Within Hero. I don't want this to just turn out like any other, I pushed a fresh account to KSM thing, because it's been done 100 times. It's not hard for people who are playing at a high level to get KSM. It doesn't add anything to the community. What I want to do with this series would be to show players who know nothing about this game from a competitive standpoint how to think about every step of their gameplay to start caring about things so that they can then play at a level where the things they care about matter. For example, even as low as character creation, what race should I make my class? The common answer for people who don't care is just whatever looks cool. But I think that it could be useful for some people to really learn why things are good or what that does to a character and how to use it to their benefit so that they can then rise to a level where all of a sudden the race you play does matter. Anyways, that's pretty much my content drought ideas. But again, there'll probably be some more things that pop up. So we'll see what's next. Anyways, that's my content plan. If anything here looks interesting to you, or like it might be useful to you, I would really love to have you as a subscriber. I would love to have you hanging out as I continue working on this, and I'd love to keep hearing about how things are going for you, how you are developing in your World of Warcraft journey. So, again, it was nice talking to you. I appreciate you giving me your time. My name is Aaron, and if you were thinking about telling me that I'm the smartest person you've ever seen or that you love me, now would be a great time to do that in the comments. Anyways, I hope to see you around. Peace. Aaron, I love you.